right, 15, almost 16 minutes gone past the hour of 5. It's time for us to switch conversations here on 92.3 Nigerian. For time is fast spent. I think I was trying to stay connected with my guest, or trying to even establish the connection with my guest, but I will start without him. He will join us shortly. I am Kala Dakorubat, but this is Hard Facts, and it is on 92.3 Nigeria Info, your news, talk, sports radio station, and of course your audio visual radio station, which means you can watch me right now live on Facebook, Nigeria Info PH. You can watch me live on YouTube, Nigeria Info PH, and we can interact because we are active on X, Nigeria Info PH. All right, so while I'm waiting to get in touch with Sydney Gbara, who's the publicity secretary of the PDP in Rivers State, I'll tell you why. Now, the PDP in Rivers State is accusing the police of being biased in terms of how politics is playing out in Rivers State. Yeah, you heard me right. The PDP is saying that the police in Rivers State, under the command of Olatunji Disu, is biased. So I'm going to read as seen on the in-house bulletin earlier, where it says the People's Democratic Party in Rivers State has raised concerns about the alleged bias of the Rivers State Police Command in handling political matters. Now, during a media briefing in Port Harcourt, the State Publicity Secretary of the party, Sydney Gbara, said the arrest and prolonged detention of Bieri, Ward 9 coordinator of Simplified Movement in Kana, Barine Roland Edo, is a clear case of bias. He wondered why Mr. Rondo was detained for over 72 hours without charges, while those accused of violence and equipment destruction at the venues of the Thanksgiving for the Supreme Court victory of Governor Siminalayi Fubara in Abuja West, Echi and Amuma LGAs are still walking about freely. Let's take a listen to what he said. I know he's going to be on the show, but let's just still listen to what he said, in the news bulletin. Okay, so I think I can find the soundbite. He also accused the representative of Gukana Federal Constituency of using his position to harass and intimidate Governor Fubara supporters in Gbara community. I might pronounce it well. Okay. I shouldn't look at that. Berry. Oh, okay. Yeah, I've got an Ogoni daughter in the studio. All right. Welcome, Sydney Gbara. It's good to have you. Hello, Sydney. Can you hear me? Hello, Sydney. Can you hear me? Welcome, Sydney Gbara.
Yeah, good evening.
Greetings to you. Welcome. I struggled to get you on the phone. Time is fast spent. So I was just reading the news article from earlier today, where you made a strong statement saying the police is biased as it relates to the political activities in Rivers State. Why have you come to that conclusion, or why has the PDP arrived at that conclusion? Can you explain further, please?
Hello, please come again. It's a little bit more audible.
All right, so can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, better. So I was asking, based on the news article from earlier in the day, why the PDP is arguing that the police is biased as it relates to political matters in Rivers State.
Okay. Well, looking at what is going on in the state now, the Nigerian police is an institution that is having the responsibility of maintaining law and order in the society. And as a people, we are equally part of the police. And for us to have a violent society with the crime, the police needs us, the people, and we the people calling the police. We need to be in collaboration with one another to achieve whatever the police we expect us to do. And this is what we expect the Nigerian police in Rivers State at this time that our state is, let me say the PDP is going through crisis. We look up to them to be able to ensure that we keep the peace. So that is one of the positions we are trying to emphasize on that the police shouldn't be one-sided in the discharge of their responsibility, even when we say the crisis we have is in Canada. In whichever area or whatever they hear that is something that could lead to unwanted crisis, they should be proactive, and handle it in such a manner that nobody will feel like being left in the dark. And we are advising the police to at this time display that level of professionalism, in the discharge of their duty, most especially when it has to do with political issues. Because once it gets to anything that will lead to crisis or any problem, we need the police to step in immediately, nip it in the bud, so that everybody will understand that there is law in the land. So that is the point we as a party, we are trying to write our standpoint.
Okay. And now you've said, I don't know if I heard you correctly, but you've said that the PDP is in some sort of crisis. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, it had me very clearly.
And the police in Rivers State is taking sides with one party in that crisis. Once again, correct me if I'm wrong.
No, we have not said they are taking sides. What we are saying is that we expect them to be neutral, because there are certain things that have happened in the state and we expected the police to be, more proactive on it. So they might, in their excuse, to say that they are working on it or they are investigating. We need all these investigations to be fast and up and doing. Let's say, for instance, the case, the situation in Ahoda East, where the DPO was killed, and the commissioner of police, the DPO, assured River people that he was going to get his own leader. At the point he announced that the candidate has been killed, and everyone was like, no, he has not killed him. We want to see the corpse and all that. And in less than no time, we saw the corpse of the gang leader. That's the kind of proactive step we need the police to maintain that standard, because the commissioner of police, by doing that in Rivers, he has brought the heart of Rivers people, so they expect him to maintain that and leave the state one day, because he's not going to be there forever. When he leaves, we'll remember him for the good job and the good things he did. So we as PDP, we are advising him and his men to maintain that level of proactiveness with which they visited that Ahuda issue. Let them use that same strength, that same expertise into whatever thing they perceive to be crisis, most especially if it's politically related.
Okay, and now I would dive deeper and ask you, why you perceive that they are not being proactive and energetic and showing expertise in the tackling of political matters. But first, we have a commercial break. When I come back, I would ask you some few more questions. So please just stay on the line for me or with me. All right then. Sydney Gbara, and we're looking at the conversation of whether the police is biased or not as it relates to political matters in Rivers State. And there was a news bulletin earlier in the day that carried the story of an allegation of police bias, questioning why a particular member of the Sims movement in the Ogoni region is still in the custody of the police, and other people who have been perpetrating actions that are violent, working freely in society. Welcome back, Sydney. It's good to have you on the show.
Yeah, me too.
All right, so let's look at that news article. Like I said, you were the one speaking in that news article, and you talked about Barine Roland Edo. So can you give us the story? I mean, I guess this is why you think that the police, or this is one of the reasons why we can argue in the direction that the police may be biased when it comes to political issues in Rivers State. So tell us the story about Barine Roland Edo, as it relates being in police custody for some days now.
Yeah, you're very correct. This is just one of those incidents that have just happened. We have other incidents that have happened in the state that we are not very comfortable with, because we saw the speed with which the Nigerian police declared the Chief of Staff Government House wanted.
Okay.
And even up till now that the court of competent jurisdiction have given a judgment that those were trumped up charges, yet the police has not made it come out public to refer whatever warrant that they have put out there. So the one we are talking about now is just one out of so many cases. Now that incident is purely abuse of fundamental human rights. We have certain persons who feel they are high up there and strongly connected, can always bring up trumped up charges and allegations against those who they feed are less. The coordinator of the simplified movement, Kana Ward 9, was arrested by the DPO of Bori over trumped up charges, and by the time we knew it, he castrated them for the number of days he liked, and then transferred him to state CID. Upon getting to state CID, Barinedo was kept there on the excuse that they were investigating the matter. So we had to move in and call on the Commissioner of Police to place as a matter of urgency, play by the rules, where you shouldn't incarcerate a man or anybody for more than a specific hours without charging the matter to court. So
has Barine been released?
Yes, he has been released. That's the good news. That he has been released, and the police is still ongoing with their investigations. I heard today they were at the station with the other factions, to see how the issues will be resolved. So that's the point of the situation of that case now. But we didn't need to come on air. We didn't need to. People don't really need to, start shouting before these things happen. These are the proactiveness I'm talking about. The Nigerian police should display in the face of whatever is going on now. The Nigerian police should be up and doing. There are certain issues they will bring to you, and you know that this one is politically motivated. And as a professional, you know how to handle it. Maybe call the police involved immediately, speak to them, interview them, and advise them on what to do and all that, rather than incarcerating somebody in this hard time. When you take the breadwinner of a family away for days, do you imagine how the family will feed, how the wife, children, little kids will have to go to school in the morning. Those things that when he's around, maybe was finding a bit difficult because of the excruciating economic situation in the country now. And when he is not around at all.
Okay.
These are some of the issues. These are some of the issues we are pleading on the Nigerian police to please, as an institution, have been put in place to protect us civilians.
Okay, can I come in now, please? Can I come in now, please? Now, you've said there were charges, and it's the duty of the police to investigate those charges. Now, you went to the police station to demand for the enforcement of the human rights of Barry Nedo. However, there were petitions, I believe. There were charges, and so the police had to investigate. But does that really make the police, look like it is biased? I'm wondering. That's why I asked the question. So, yes, you said they were quick to, charge Edison Eye, the chief of staff, even though the court has said, you say they are no longer quick, to remove the charge. But does that make them biased? Does that make them look like they're biased, or look like they're not active or proactive or energetic enough?
Canada, you are in Rivers State, and we'll be witnessing events unfold in this state. We are in this state where certain persons have been directly accused of wanton destruction and arson. We are in this state, and we'll see all that happen.
Okay.
Where has that proactiveness, the speed with which Edison Eye was declared wanted, and some other innocent Rivers people who up till now, nothing has been done in respect to that. The speed with which Barry Nedo was arrested immediately without wasting of any time. Why is that proactiveness not going the other way around? That is the question we are asking.
Okay. Now, can I say this? Maybe there's a program, so that video online where the police commissioner mentioned that some of these people you're talking about are on the run. The police invited them to the police station. They've not honored the invitation, and right now they are on the run. So does that give you some bit of hope that the police are on the matter and they're being proactive?
Well, we cannot do their job because they are professionals and they are trained for that job. We as citizens, we are just onlookers, and we will continue, and we will believe them. Because if they say somebody is on run, no problem. Because we know how long it took the Nigerian police to crack the Hausa East case. Let's all say, yes, I am aware of the press briefing by the commissioner that some of these persons are find out that there is no problem about that. We will pray that the police should carry on their duties professionally. Okay.
Now let's quickly briefly leave the police issue. This, like you said, is a battle between brothers in the PDP. People in the PDP are having issues, factions, and all of that. And before it gets to the police, can the PDP not unite its house in Rivers State? Does this have anything to do with the rumored or reported ward congresses that is supposed, I had a guest on my show yesterday that said on the 14th of March, supposedly, there are supposed to be the ward, states, and national congresses. What do you make of that, please?
Well, like I said earlier, there is no need pretending about it, that there is a crack in the PDP house. And this is one of the reasons why we are praising the governor, Gbara, because in every ramification he has demonstrated a different style of leadership we have not seen before in Rivers State, where he's calmly, cool, calculatively delivering the goods of democracy and all that he needs to do. As a governor, he has demonstrated maturity, in the face of the tantrums and all manner of things, that have been thrown, and no distractions at all. That is the reason why we are saluting him. Well, crises or issues always come up where people are clash of interest and all that, as the case may be. But this is politics. We always disagree, to agree. And maybe that is what is going on, and somehow we will get to the point where we work together. Now, when it comes to the issue of the Congress, well, the National Secretariat has not issued an official statement yet. We've had lots of rumors, going on because of maybe some persons feel, in my own group, this is what we are doing, in this other group, this is what we are doing. But the the National Secretariat has not issued an official statement. That is what we are waiting for, so that, we can see how the party structures, right from the wards, the LGA and the state level will be, maybe put together for the next phase of politics of 2027.
All right.
So there has not been any official statement from the National Secretariat. We are waiting to hear from them.
Okay. Let's also look at this question, the last question I want to ask you, and that is, what would you rather the police do in this situation, in this political polarization in the PDP? What would you have the police do?
The highest level of professionalism. You see, these are people that were trained on their job, and over the years, they are highly experienced. The Commissioner of Police, we have here now, is just new to River State. I know him when he was, I think he was the first commander of staff in River State, so he's well grounded. He knows River State like the back of his palm. So not that some persons will feel, he just came, he's trying to, no, he knows River State like the back of his palm.
All right.
So that was why some of us were not surprised when we saw the result he achieved in Ahuda West with his team. We are congratulating him and we are encouraging him. We know it's not easy sometimes when these pressures will come from here and there, but him and his men should remain professional.
All right.
I know it's not easy. Yes, they should remain professional so that we, the Rivers people, we will continue to have our confidence in them. But if you look at the coloration of the politics of today, it is divided. The grassroots are with the governor. That's the truth.
All right.
And whatever you're doing to the government of the day is what the people are looking at. Their actions and inactions. Is it antagonizing the government of the day, or is it protecting the government of the day? Rivers people are on one way. Since 1999, we always supported the government of the day.
Right.
And this administration will not be an exception.
Right.
So we are pleading with the Commissioner of Police and his team to continue. Just like we've talked about Barilendo, we made our complaint and he listened, and by today the young man this is what we want to see.
All right.
Let us have that relationship and have the confidence with the institution, police as an institution. Let's have confidence in them. Let us see them as people we can approach when we are in need, and then they will listen to us.
All right.
Let us see us as partners in progress in whatever they want to achieve.
Okay. I don't have enough time now. All right, Sidi, I don't have enough time, but I do have a breaking news, and that is that the member representing Obiakpo constituency, I hope I have this information right, at the local government level. Yeah, the member representing Obiakpo at the local government level, or is it Nyesom Wike's ward? Nyesom Wike, and leader of the Obiakpo House of Assembly, resigns, and he has dumped the faction of Nyesom Wike and is pledging his support for Sasim Fubara. That is a news that has reached me. I'll talk more about it. I do not have enough time. I do have a commercial break now, but thank you very much, Sidney Gbara, for coming in.
You're welcome, my brother. Thank you very much.
All right, then.